back. I'm Gerson Borrero for City and State TV. We're going to continue part 2 of our conversation with Javier Nieves, who actually served in the New York State Assembly from the 51st District in Brooklyn. You already heard part 1, and we were just beginning to start speaking about the current mayor, Bill de Blasio, who Javier Nieves knows for over 20-something odd years. And you were starting to say, Javier, that you also know him since he was a community school board member. Thank you for staying with us at City and State TV, Javier Nieves. Tell us about Bill de Blasio. When you worked from that point, I mean, because now he's mayor of New York City, and did we get, is this the Bill de Blasio you expected, the Bill de Blasio you know? Has he been a good mayor? I'm gonna throw all of that at you because you come at it from another perspective. Most New Yorkers, even when they voted for him, only knew him as public advocate. Mm-hmm. And then from there, he went on to become mayor. And so we're still trying to find out, why is Bill de Blasio always late, for example? Has he always been that way? I'm serious question.
You know what? I couldn't answer that question because I know that I've always had a very friendly relationship with Bill, and Bill has a great personality, and that's very strong in him. And I never even thought about him showing up late to anything until the press started to run with this, that he's always late. And I think it's unfair, frankly, to throw at him the issue.
But he is always late. Or used to be
I'd
late.
I'd rather see that the press goes after him on the issues rather than say that he's late. If he's being late because the trains are backed up or
let me give you an example. You were supposed to be here at a certain time, 2 p.m.
Yes.
You arrived here at 1:45. You didn't do that because...
No, I planned to be here earlier. No, absolutely.
So this shows if you had gotten here at 2:15 instead of 2 o'clock, it would have been a sign of disrespect to yourself and to me and to City and State TV. So I think that's basic for any person in New York City, in the world. You arrive, you say a time, and then if you do it continuously.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not that I'm evading the question. I agree with you. Okay, I think that after the first time that you ask for a meeting with a person and that person keeps on showing up or not showing up, or it becomes that there is a lack of respect at some point in time. So,
I just want to make it clear that the press isn't out to get him. I think he provides that material, that fodder that really was constant front pages. That's all. Mm-hmm. Bill de Blasio, did you ever expect to see him as mayor? Seriously?
Most people didn't. And not to say because if I knew the future, I certainly would not be here sitting with you right now. But I can tell you. I don't know. Maybe I'll be president here someone now. Who knows? But I can tell you that I made my choice, an endorsement of Bill de Blasio, based on a relationship that we had, on the fact that he represented very progressive values at with his platform for New York City, and the fact that, again, the human nature aspect, that we had a relationship. And one of the things that I have to respect about him is that Bill even visited me in my house many years ago to try.
Is he the real deal? Is he really progressive? Or did he steal most of that stuff from John Lew, who I consider and many consider to be the real progressive?
Well, I mean, if somebody else is the initiator of the progressive agenda and you take it and you run with it, does that not make you progressive also, if you're able to implement those issues? Well, I mean, was it truly John Lew's position? And I certainly believe that John Lew was a progressive candidate. But I also believe that Bill de Blasio is a progressive candidate. But saying that at the same time, and I say this reluctantly because I want to give him all of the benefit of the doubt, which is that the way that he has dealt with, for example, the Latino community.
Is he a progressive mayor?
His progressive agenda is an agenda that reminds me a little bit of Reaganomics.
How so?
Okay, and I'll tell you how. We remember that trickle-down theory?
Right.
Well, his progressive agenda, so we can question his progressivism because I'm also questioning it also to some degree, because he expects that that his progressive agenda is going to trickle down to the people of New York City, to those most in need, those most vulnerable, those left out, those that are not included, that have traditionally been excluded, okay? So, and then how do I relate that? I relate that to the Latino community in particular because I'm also part of the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation, which is a citywide group that has convened sort of to
Committee for Fair Latino Representation
within the de Blasio administration, because we have seen that in his 22 months in office or 18 months in office,
seems like a lifetime to me.
Yeah, and he started out good in terms of bringing in his appointments, and usually, you know, in Spanish, we have a saying, dime con quién anda, te diré quién eres. So I sort of changed that a little bit. Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. And so, and the stats don't lie. So he started out naming a lot of these high level positions with Latinas, Paoli and Fariña and Gladys Carrion and so forth. But then all of a sudden, it sort of took a vacation. And the number, it was 30-something% at that time. And then it weaned down to what we see now, that as of March, we're talking about appointments in his administration for Latino has gone to 10%.
I thought it was around 9. Okay.
It's been fluctuating between 9 and whatnot. Right. Nobody has ever refuted those stats from his administration that our technical advisor Angelo Falcon from the National Institute for Latino Policy has been documenting and putting this out. So those numbers, and then what happens is that Asian, followed by Asians, African Americans, and whites, and respectively, you're talking about 10%. 14% for African Americans and 66% for whites appointments. So if you're talking about having an administration, which is one of the things that drew me to his campaign, of inclusiveness,
You're not talking preferential treatment.
No, not preferential treatment. No, not at all. Not at all. What we're talking about is, but you have to make a correlation between if we are close to 30% of the population of the city of New York, and all we are good for, that you can only find 10% of the people qualified to do those jobs, then something is wrong there. Something is amiss here. So what is it? It's not because he's not saying the right things. He's saying the right things. But he's not doing the right things.
Is it a fault? Because this also happens, I want to be fair with Mayor de Blasio, like I'm fair with Governor Cuomo. This is, at the state level, things aren't much better. This is a fault. Shouldn't we be looking at ourselves, Latinos? Puerto Ricans have been here forever. We've been fighting this fight. We wait for the crumbs to fall off the table. This is our own fault.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that with the same token that we hold the mayor to this litmus test of what it means for us to be included in this administration, we have to hold our elected officials accountable also. And yes, we celebrate Melissa Vivaritos becoming Speaker of the City Council, and it's a great accomplishment. And we applaud Fariña and Gladys Carrion and Marcos Carrion and these people. But those are individual accomplishments. What does it mean for the community as a whole? What is there a what do you call? Is there hope? Or because what I'm starting to hear, and it's not only from the Latino community, but when you have people like Bertha Lewis.
We had her on here.
Yes. Bertha Lewis from the Black Institute talking about that that there's a problem with this administration and its progressivism as it relates to minority and women-owned businesses. Yes. Okay, yes. Which I'm also a part of Hispanics in Real Estate and Construction, right, which Peter Fontanez runs, and this is an issue that has been brought out many times over, and there's even a lawsuit, I believe, in terms of.
But to be fair, that dates back to Miguelito Bloomberg, to Mayor Bloomberg.
Without a doubt,
Okay.
without a doubt. We're not accusing de Blasio or stating that de Blasio is at fault for this, but this is nothing new, you know.
Javier, you have known Bill de Blasio 20-something odd years. I'm sure that you have him on speed dial. When was the last time you talked to Bill de Blasio, your buddy, the guy you knew?
I spoke to Bill possibly, I think about 3 months ago was the last time that I spoke to him.
You spoke to him on his personal mobile cell. You called him.
We spoke over,
Which, by the
over
way,
phone.
I know well, it wasn't his. You didn't call him on his cell. You call his office, or you have you talked to him on just buddy to buddy?
No, we have not as of late. So, but we did. We did that very early on in his once he won the election, and I have to say, to his credit, although you want to put this lateness thing, he always returned my calls, and so he did, but. You know, like the old saying in New York City, that and a token will get me in the train. You know, so.
Is he a victim of the trappings of the power of the office of the mayor of one of the biggest and most important, greatest cities in the world? Is he a victim? Is he trapped into that? I'm going to give him a way out here, or is it beyond that? In other words, could it be that he's become enamored, he's become trapped, the security surrounding him, all the, as I call them, alcahuetes, all the flags that he has around him, other people telling him, you know, how great he is, because I've never seen so many adulators, you know, when people come to power that they do no wrong. So is he a victim of that, or is he, no, things are okay? Is he a victim of the first deputy mayor who's telling him, oh, we got everything under control? Is he a victim of Lilian Barros Paoli, who's a Latina, strong Latina, very efficient, that he's telling, no, we got the Latino thing? Is he a victim of, what's his name, the guy, Carrion, who's another alcahuete, who actually tells him, you know, I got the community assistance unit. No, I'm saying, listen, I'll tell them in their face. They get a little job, a little title, and they think okay, I'm the gatekeeper. Is he a victim of Melissa Marviverito, who's advising him, no, I'm the top Puerto Rican, I'll take care of them?
No, I don't think he's a victim. He knows very well what he was getting himself into. If anybody knew, he knew. He certainly has sailed the murky waters of politics in New York City for a long time. So he knows, and not at the very low levels. Although there's always a learning curve. He went from a budget in the public advocate's office of what, $5 million maybe, I think? I don't know, but from $5 million.
37 people, very little money.
Very
33
small,
people.
and you can afford to lash out at everything that you see wrong. Now, you're running the city of New York, the most powerful, almost the center of the universe for some people, or at least economically anyway.
Well, yes, a $1 trillion city.
Yeah, and certainly rightly so. So there is a learning curve, and I would imagine that he also is being careful in terms of how he proceeds. But he is not a victim of
Wait, you proceed image-wise? His image is sucks right now.
Not his image, but certainly where he go, how he proceeds going forward, and every decision, every step that you take out there is analyzed, and sometimes they suffer from the analysis of paralysis, you know, to the point. And then you have all these alcahuetes that you're talking about, telling them, "Don't worry about it, I got this covered," you know. And little does he know that the emperor has no clothes, you know, because the bottom line is that I mean, I've been one, and the Campaign for Fair Latino Representation has been one wanting to have a meeting with him. We haven't lashed out at him. We haven't gone. We just simply say, hey, look, you cannot disrespect the Latino community in this manner. This is the only criticism I have against him, about not sitting down, not with Javier Nieves and Angelo Falcon or 2 or 3 individuals. There's over 50 organizations involved, individuals that have paid their dues in New York City, people that have been in commissionerships and in all kinds of positions throughout the city, who are very brilliant, who are part of this campaign.
What would be...
So the first step would be for him to acknowledge, to sit down. I mean, I believe that there's a new a person in the office of appointments. I think Chloe Drew left.
Diversity officer?
No, the Office of Appointments, which Chloe Drew used to be the director of, and she left recently.
Well, I hear she did nothing.
And well, a lot of people have stated that, and so there's a new person there. That person has not bothered to reach out to the campaign. When you're talking about this cross section of people like Luis Reyes, Dr. Luis Reyes, when you're talking about professors from the University of Hostos, Long Island College Hospital, Long Island College, when you're talking about Hispanics in real estate and construction, the chambers of commerce, all these people are not just wasting their time just because they want to hang out with each other. There's a serious problem as it relates to inclusiveness that he talks about in his administration. And those people that are around him, those soquetas, those people that are telling him you're doing great, are not telling him the truth. Hey, you got a problem. And even if you don't do the right thing for in this issue, re-election is around the corner, pretty much. Okay, so wouldn't you, from a strategic standpoint, sit down with the people and start talking, or at least trying to respect them on that level? We don't expect the mayor to be our savior. We have been here for quite a long time. The Puerto Rican and Latino community have been here in this city for a long time. And we have sailed the murky waters, and we know what's out there. We don't put all our hopes in one basket, or all our eggs in one basket. But certainly, we had high hopes for him. And I certainly did it on a personal level. I had personally, and I still give him that leadway that he's going to come around and say, okay, it's time to change gears here, because what I talked about earlier about that trickle-down economics, it's like Reagan, if you're that progressive mayor, hey, it starts at home. This national tour that you have talking about progressive agenda.
I cannot find a better closing than Bill de Blasio being compared with Ronald Reagan and his crazy ideas of trickle-down economy. Bill de Blasio, you know Javier Nieves, you've got his number, he's got yours. Maybe you guys should have a little, I don't know about beer or coffee, whatever it is. Have a drink of water, man, because you ain't looking good, Bill. So I'm Gerson Borrero. Thank you, Javier Nieves. Good seeing you.
Thank you for having me.
For City and State TV, we'll see you and catch you on the next one.